Ooh, just like a horror movie.
I was thinking the same.
Appearances can be deceiving.
Let's hope so.
This guy seems strangely...
You don't say. You've been treated here too. That would explain...
Oh, don't be stupid. I'm serious.
No.
Well?
No, it can't be. Are you telling me it's him?
I'm sure of it, pal. It seems the gossip was true.
Oh, no, no, no.
Huh. It doesn't matter how...
That was very, poetic of you, Marty. Oh,
Cluck you. Huh. It doesn't matter.
that...
Cluck.
Of all the great wild ones.
Greetings, miss.
Is it really you?
Well,
Yes, it really is.
I'm afraid so.
Of all that's furry and plumy, that's fantastic.
Miss, we'd like to ask...
Please, don't be scared. I'm just really excited. You know, I've read every book about you.
Indeed.
You can't imagine what an honor it is to meet.
We really...
Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. Take a deep... Air.
Well, miss, we have some questions if...
I'd love to answer all of your...
Say, miss, what can you tell us about this place?
Our institution was standing even before... And during the war, it was transformed into a military hospital. Since
The place seems pretty empty.
we have 32 and 7 nurses, including me. We also have a 3-person make...
I see. Now, this Dr. Quetzal, is he the...
Exactly. Director, scientist.
Quite a guy.
He certainly is.
So who is this Dr. Quetzal?
He's a world-famous research...
Psycho... what?
Unraveling the mind. Most crucial mission of the century, Mr.
That's really good to know.
So this doctor's some celebrity, right? Does he usually meet, other
I'm not sure I know...
Well, like, Miss...
Ah, yes. That's something you should ask the doctor himself.
He's swamped, is he?
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. He is very...
I thought so. What can you say about this, miss? Have you...
Of course. Our residents wear these for identification. But how did you come...
Huh.
The wristband does belong to one of our residents. But I'm afraid I'm...
Oh, come on, Miranda. It's a...
I'm sorry.
Miranda, this case is a matter of life and death.
All right. All right. I'll do it.
Figures. Just...
Thank you, Miranda. We'll...
Please, don't make me blush. And don't tell anyone.
Oh, we won't.
So when can we talk to Miss...
I need to ask Dr. Quetzal.
Thank you.
This pic...
Well, it must have been made by one of the patients.
It's the handiwork of our director. He's not...
I see.
Well, it's lovely to have...
That's right, Marty.
Even if you manage to escape, there's nothing but hills and...
Imagine how many poor lunatic ghosts must...
Ooh, Sonny, you're...
Dr. Quetzal will see you. He's
What a surprise. It's enough to mention Wessler's name.
I wouldn't want to get mixed up in this.
Danger.
We haven't heard from him since he disappeared. And we're really...
I see. We don't know yet, miss, but let's...
Great wild ones protect him.
Where is he?
No idea, Marty.
The smell of all that's furry.
Well, reptiles have a disgusting body odor, Marty, but they feel exactly...
I already sensed your arrival from afar. You know, snakes have a different sense of smell.
Well, yeah. Luckily, we're living in civilized...
Lucky. Please, take a
an isle of reason and
Insanity is such a strong word, and it's mostly an abstract idea. Where does insanity start?
you see, that's something I think about a lot.
If you like, I can give you...
Oh, this is your chance, Sonny. Don't miss it.
Marty, clock up. Your office is rather Puritan. Simple, I mean.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, yes. I can't let my mind wander from my work.
I see. Why do you have bars on?
Because it's a room like all the others, and I'm just an animal.
With the significant difference of...
It's not as big of a difference. To be honest, gentlemen, your visit is anything...
What an introduction.
Please forgive me. I have the bad habit of immediately getting into the middle of things. How very rude of me.
The name is Santino Featherland, and this is my partner, Martin McChicken, from
the predatory division of the Clawville Police Department.
We're used to it.
Certainly.
We have some questions about one of your patients, if you don't mind. We'd like to talk to him, if that...
Please be...
Look, Doctor, we're too tired to play cat and mouse. Not that snake and chickens...
Very funny, I must say.
We know you know. It's about Albert Wessler, Ibn Wessler's secret twin. Ever since we've said his name, all the doors have miraculous...
Well, yes. Why should I deny it? We're talking about a rather illustrious patient here who's...
Now, that's much more interesting.
Because Albert, regrettably, has disappeared, and you are police detectives, I have no reason not to talk to you.
Not even if it's a matter of life.
Everything's a matter of life and death in here, detective. This is a...
Still, I'd like to give the impossible a...
Please, detective, just do your...
How long was Albert a resident of...
For quite some time. His first symptoms surfaced...
Was he brought here immediately after the first...
You know, the biggest problem with an opinion on insanity is that animals are ashamed of it. That's...
Because animals would rather hide what they're afraid to face.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
As far as I know, the Wessler family wasn't exceptional.
Indeed, they were rather poor, but we offer our services gratis.
Then how do you sustain yourselves?
By the grace of the treasury of King Hector III.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
My family and the royal dynasty had always been on good terms, Mr.
What kind of a place is this exactly? I assume it wasn't built as an...
It used to be a mansion. Construction started during the occupation in 622. Then it stood empty for...
How long have you been working here?
I've worked here for more than 30 years, but it's been in my family.
So if I count correctly, as soon as it went to the crown, it was seized by your family.
That's almost accurate.
What a lovely inheritance. Tell me, Doctor, do you know...
Just like everybody else, I've heard of her, but I never had the pleasure of meeting her in...
Oh, you can be sure about that. I'd gladly get you two together if I had the chance.
Is that...
As it turns out, she likes small, narrow, secret places.
Oh, I see.
Dr. Quetzal's a real mystery. But I can turn that to my advantage. So when did Albert become a resident of your institute?
Albert and Hobart, or Ibn as you call him.
Could you describe that day?
It was not long after New Year's Eve, maybe the first week of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
What was your first impression of them?
I already knew the Wessler name. I knew who they were. Or at least I knew one of them, Hobart.
And Albert?
He was new to me, an invisible grey ghost.
Why?
Because they were ashamed of him, of course, Mr. Featherland.
What was your first impression of him?
He was silent, but observed everything that surrounded him. His eye...
Was he afraid?
I wouldn't say so. It seemed to me that he wanted to move into our institution voluntarily.
Didn't you think of that as unusual?
Of course I did, but who am I to judge? It was rather...
What kind of special treatment did Albert get?
You know, if an institution like ours has to accept a Wessler as a guest...
And complete secrecy, I guess.
Yes, but that's the case for all our patients, Miss...
Of course. So in what way did he receive more than the others?
Basically, we don't admit anyone into our institution without a complete and thorough
So you didn't even know if he had anything wrong with him?
Initially, no. He was more of a guest than a patient.
How did you see Albert when you first met?
Albert was shy and reserved, like a ghost. He almost never touched.
What else?
He was delicate and graceful, almost like a woman. Yes. He was rather...
Why did he have to be locked up?
I asked the same thing at first.
Are you telling me Albert had multiple...
We found out very quickly that there was no other reason for the cause of his seizures. He had
these seizures from the beginning?
Yes, Mr. Featherland, but they started to intensify.
He did what? Left?
Oh, yes, Mr. Featherland. Albert left the institution on several...
Quetzal's not only very observant, but he's addicted to details. I must focus on that if I want to get closer to the truth. Focus. When and why did Albert leave the institution for the first time?
It was about 2 years ago. Mr. Hobart Wessler appeared and demanded we let his...
But you did.
He returned the same day. Albert was ecstatic. He was unrestrained. I could almost say...
That was unusual for him?
I had never seen him like that before, Mr. Featherland. He just smiled and stared.
Did he ever tell you what happened to him outside?
Of course he did. Albert and I had a good relationship. He was...
Was it a painting of a lovely lady cat?
Oh, exactly.
Yes, Dr. Quetzal, I've seen it. Did Albert tell you how he felt about the painting?
From the first moment, he loved it. He was fascinated by it. But who could blame him? A little diversity.
Which could be a surprisingly effective therapy.
It could have been. Unfortunately, these excursions have greatly intensified his seizures.
So Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting.
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. Every time he came back, he was
more dangerous.
Albert was hurting himself. And on one occasion, he even tried to hurt me. It was unprecedented.
Do you think the painting caused it?
Not the painting.
But its subject.
Exactly. He was obsessed. Right until that fate...
What exactly happened?
It wasn't Hobart who brought his brother back that day, but two of his gorillas.
What happened to him?
I don't like to talk about that.
It could be vital to the case, Dr. Quetzal. Don't back...
Oh, you're right. There's no use turning back now. So, Albert's tongue was torn out.
So you're saying Albert was brought back?
Yes. And they didn't give any explanation as to what had happened.
Dr. Quetzal is cold and professional, but he's also very confused. Maybe it's cruel, but I must exploit his vulnerability if I want to learn. Maybe it's not easy for you to talk about it, but Did you examine his wounds?
I'm not that kind of doctor, Mr. Featherland, but even I could determine his tongue.
But there's no doubt it wasn't an accident.
I don't believe it was.
I totally agree. Concentrate, Doctor. What do you think?
I'm sure it was Hobart. He ordered his men to mutilate poor Albert.
But why would he do...
Maybe Albert saw something he could add.
To whom? The four walls? A couple of crazies?
To anyone, Mr. Featherland.
I don't think it's that simple, Doctor. But thank you for your honest opinion.
You're welcome, Detective.
What happened then? How did Albert disappear?
A few weeks later, Hobart came to visit Albert one more time. Albert had been in terrible condition by then.
What did Hobart do during the visit?
He didn't do anything. He just sat and watched his brother.
Couldn't you manage to draw anything out of him?
Nothing. For a while, he was trying to signal something. Perhaps he was too afraid, and most likely his fingers had...
Do you think Hobart could have...
It's horrible to say it.
How did he disappear in the end? Did some...
That's what's most eerie about it all, Mr. Featherland. He simply...
Did anyone see anything?
No one. We interrogated the staff, even the patients.
Unfortunately, I have a hunch. Thank you, Doctor. You've been a great help.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could be of help. But please, I now must attend to my work.
We understand, Doctor. Is this cell like...
I would rather call it a room. But yes...
That's quite...
I think you understand why we kept it a secret. If it wasn't for Mr.
Then the
accident. Ha! We didn't believe it, not for a second.
Different how?
If someone got one of his eyes poked out.
We believe you, Doctor. So
I'd rather call it his room.
Thanks to the Wessler name, I guess.
Yes. Well, we try to make all of our patients stay.
I hope you don't mind if we take a look around.
That's not going to bother anyone.
Well, that's, surprising.
I've never seen a cell like this before, that's for sure. I wouldn't mind living here myself.
It seems that being a Wessler gets you privileges.
And a healthy dose of danger.
Mostly that, yeah. Let's take a good look around.
Well, I smell paint, ink, plaster.
What the dickens?
Unmistakable.
This place is bad for you, pal. But if you've already jump-started your beak holes, then sniff out the solution.
I'm on it, Boss Bird. No way! Is this some kind of puzzle?
I don't think so. But we could still find something important. Look at that. A letter. Scribbles, newspaper articles, study papers, poems. Perfect chaos.
Just like the troubled mind of a troubled fella.
Yeah, but there's still a kind of order in it. It's just too intricate for you to comprehend.
If you say so, boss.
Identical twins. And looking, 2 men and 1 woman. Nothing good ever comes of that.
Well,
Of all the wild ones, Marty, please.
just use your imagination, old bird.
A small window. The style. It's very...
You've been lonely.
Not funny, Marty.
It is, a little. You know, I don't think he had it.
You mean apart from being separated from everyone you love and...
You're right.
As always. Albert was madly in love with Natasha and would have done anything for her. I'm afraid he did exactly. What do you make of this?
Apart from the fact the guy was totally insane? I don't know.
That maybe we've been chasing the wrong person all this time.
What do you mean?
Everything will be revealed.
Why do you have to be so melodramatic?
If I'm right, this'll flip the whole...
What's that, Sonny? A blurb from some horrible novel?
I just have to think things through before I come to any hasty...
Ugh, you're killing me. So...
Back to Clawville, where we can finally put all the pieces together.
You're driving me crazy.
What can you tell us about the woman in the photo?
Do you mean Miss Natasha Katsenko? Well,
Did she ever visit this place?
never. But if you ask me, Natasha...
And Albert, did he mention...
Constantly. It was obvious he had an affection for Miss...
I wouldn't jump ahead, Doctor. Something else could be behind.
Do you think so?
Maybe they do, Doctor, but in my line of work, logic's not always the best.
In 99% of...
Exactly. But this one typically belongs to the remaining...
If you say so.
Tell me, Doctor, do you know...
Just like everybody...
Oh, you can be sure about that.
So, detectives,
I'm afraid we have, Doctor.
I wouldn't dare to say I'm happy to hear it, but
Well, thanks, Doc.
I hope I don't offend you by saying I hope we're not going to...
Not on account of either of our jobs, am I right?
Exactly.
Concentrate, Marty, for the God's sake.
Can you drive like you're not a fucking lunatic?
Shut up and shoot, you big feather pillow. Are you blind or what? Where did you learn to shoot?
Whew. Well, that was close.
A little too close for my taste. And it only strengthens my belief. Wessler is desperate. He knows it.
Well, come on, what did you work out?
Sure. Let's put the picture together, Pete. Let's start from the beginning. So, we got a case. Natasha tried to show us the painting. And that painting would have shown us the way. Ibn and Albert Wessler. Albert painted Natasha, so he met her on more than one occasion. Which made Albert fall in love with Natasha. And on a fateful night, he killed his brother so he could take his place in secret and win Natasha's heart.
So what happens now?
The inevitable, Marty. We're going to the Wessler mansion to confront Ibn with the facts.
You mean Albert, right?
Yeah, exactly. And of course,
Do you think she...
something stinks, Marty.
Too many...
Well, after 10 years, you did look...
9? Huh.
What?
You just laughed.
What? No.
No, you laughed.
Just leave it, Marty.
I'll be telling this to my grandchildren.
All right, pal.
Okay. So, Albert fell...
And his best chance was to trade places.
So that's why the torn out...
Yeah, Ibn couldn't squeal even if he wanted to.
What a diabolical...
More like in...
But why the messages then? Why the threats? Albert...
I'm not a psychologist, Marty, but remember what the doctor told us. Albert has a seriously injured mind. And
So the messages were written by one of his personalities...
something like that, Marty. But we can only learn the whole...
You're right.
We're going, Marty, to finally finish what we started.
Well, if there's anything you'd like to do before...
You're right, Marty. It's time to wrap. Hey, Lewis. You weren't awake.
I've never been this excited, Sonny. Seriously, it is a great honor to be part of the team. What is it?
You, Lewis, you don't stutter anymore.
What?
Just now, you didn't stutter. Not even a little.
Oh, I must be exhausted. It happens sometimes.
And it's back.
So, thanks again, Lewis.
Come on, boys. Don't even mention it. It is me who is grateful to be a part.
Maybe the last one, too.
Hey, Sonny. Don't spoil his mood.
Pardon.
Nothing. I just realized
Yes, Marty. Albert's been Ibn for a long time.
that he's been acting strange recently.
Exactly. Like, he's not himself anymore.
It was almost hitting us in the face, huh?
Don't blame yourself, Marty. We couldn't have figured that out just by ourselves.
Well, it's how we make our living, Sonny. And I'm sure we'll have plenty more twisted cases.
Who knows, Marty? It's not up to us.
Yeah, right. Do you think the asylum was in on it? I mean, covering up...
You know that reptiles give me the creeps. One of them even set fire to that ship. But oddly enough, the doctor...
He seemed like a patient to me. Seriously, I thought...
Yeah. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process, he doesn't become...
Are you still talking...
Good question.
So, what's the plan? We shove the letter and our theory in his face and see what happens?
Something like that, Marty. I think our presence will be enough for the truth to come out.
I really hope you're right, Boss Bird.
We have no other choice. So...
Do you think it's a love triangle? I mean, could Natasha...
Good question, Marty. But I don't think so. When I first spoke to Natasha...
In her own way, huh?
Maybe. Maybe she even suspected the truth, but didn't...
So, What do you think?
I don't know, Marty, but I believe Natasha didn't mean to be bad.
I'm not as sure of that as you are, boss. But we'll find that out pretty soon, I guess.
I think Natasha was very much aware that wherever she goes, disaster follows her. But it's not her fault.
Really? You don't say. Someone remarkably similar.
You mean me, right?
Who can even read minds?
Maybe you're right, Marty. Maybe you're right.
Okay, so when you feel we can...
Thanks, partner. I'll do that.
Ah, you know, Sonny,
You have
the silence, the fog.
the smell.
Yeah, the Cobbler District has its...
Ah, it seems Zip is ready.
That's waiting only... Well, he's out.
They're often the same, Marty. Hello, Zip. I see.
You know, Sonny, they told me I could stay in there for 48...
Well, maybe you should have done that.
Shit, I had enough. Fuck it. You understand? When you interrogated me, you opened my eyes. I don't give a shit about him, about Wessler and...
That's the Zip we know and love.
Thanks, Marty. So,
One last coffee.
are you going to get him?
We don't have a choice, Zip. We're grabbing the rat by the tail.
Ah, I see you.
Just Sonny. I'm like this all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Zip.
And?
Nothing. Here I am, Natasha. I hope you're waiting for me.
Furry gods. I knew he was rich, but
Half the city is in his hands, Marty.
I think we'll catch a big fish.
Don't count your chickens. I'm sure Wessler's expect...
You hope?
If I'm right, she could be our only chance.
Lovely prospects, huh?
I've had worse.
Really? Quite the steed, isn't
Seems nowadays organized crime pay...
it? Are you surprised? The chicken...
Well, they say the team's back to...
Nah, that's impossible.
Oh, yeah. It's...
What the hell is it? Water tower?
I think it's a monument to an enormous...
Well, anyone who builds a tower this big must...
Or he just has too much dough.
Hey, not so fast. Please excuse my partner. He didn't mean to be rude, it's just his terrible habits, as you may already know.
Ah, look what the cat...
Funny, I don't recognize them.
Well, maybe if they had some guns with them?
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. The two suckers in the luxury van you shot.
Exactly.
What are you doing here?
We'd love to have fun with you boys, but we need to talk to your boss. And while we're at it...
Is that so?
Yeah, that's so...
In that case, I guess there's no reason for us to waste your precious time. Is that...
Get the hell out of our sights, Vaderas.
Easy, pal. We're not even here anymore. This must lead to Wessler and Natasha's suite.
Let's get the big guns out and kick the...
No need for that, Marty. We'll wait until they invite us in, like real gentlemen. Then...
Oh, my trigger finger's itching, Sonny. Someone's...
Relax, Marty. Someone is...
Yeah, just don't... Ah, what a pleasant surprise.
Get lost.
What did you say?
Turn around and get the hell out of here now. If you want to...
Come on, Olivia. Don't worry about us.
Martin,
Huh?
don't you get it? You have to get out of here or you'll be in danger, and also her.
Do you mean Natasha? Please calm down, miss.
You really don't understand, do you?
So, what is...
I was trying to tell the detectives that Mr. Wessler's very tired and doesn't welcome guests.
I'm sure Mr. Featherland and Mr. McChicken can wait here while Ibn...
Thank you, miss...
Please, Sonny. I thought we've already discussed it.
Please, Natasha.
Martin?
It's all right, Olivia. These...
Yes, Miss Katzink.
The truth is, Ibn isn't...
You commissioned us, Natasha, and we barely...
So you know who left the...
Oh, we know much more than that, Natasha. We even know where you used...
Wild gods.
Why didn't you tell us?
Do you think it's easy for a woman to talk about such things? That...
Along with Molly?
So you know.
Yeah, I know, Natasha. I also know...
Believe me, I tried to handle things the least painfully I could.
A lot shouldn't have happened. Poor Deborah shouldn't have had to die.
Dear sweet Deb...
Cold, stiff Deborah.
Please don't say that.
A price worth paying?
You cannot think I had anything to do with it.
I don't know, Natasha.
Please, Sonny, tell me.
You have to know, right?
Please.
Excuse me for making you wait, detectives. I'm having a rough morning after a long night.
Is that so? Our night was also kind...
To put it mildly.
I was just telling the gentleman that you were exhausted, my dear.
Oh, honey, no need for that. My door's always open to the legendary chicken police.
Then this way.
You just stay here, my darling. I'm sure our conversation will bore you to death. Please,
Yes, dear.
please, follow me.
Lead on, Wessler.
Goodbye.
This...
It's beautiful,
I'm not surprised.
but the corner is...
You're right, Sonny.
Well, yeah, this painting's unfortunately damaged.
You don't know. Well, if you're interested...
Really?
Really.
An insignificant little piece, isn't it? But there's an exciting...
More like a rat scratch.
That's Albert Wessler. He's a great painter. I don't know if you...
Enough! Out with it already. What are you trying...
Easy, Wessler. We'll get to that.
Yeah, would you like a drink?
Really.
Yeah, I've heard you don't...
And I've heard you don't despise murder, Wessler. By the way, you've heard right. But
Yeah, I see you...
more like prophetic.
And that's not...
Yeah. Are you trying to...
No, that's not how we do business.
I really hope so.
Do you keep a revolver?
Yeah, a bad habit.
I agree. This is
Well, thank you.
I suppose it took years and years.
Yeah. As you say, Mr...
You should be. Whoever built this place has a...
Are you trying to say something?
No, just thinking. Impressive bad.
Sure is better than a cell.
That's right,
I'm not sure I understand, gentlemen.
We'll see about that.
So, what do you want to know? I've heard you've been through a...
Oh, you have rather good...
Yeah, that's true. I should tell you, I see and hear everything.
None taken. But tell me, are we going to flatter each other for a long time?
Straight to the point. I like it. Yeah, so let's continue like that, shall we?
Oh, forgive us. Our moral compass has been confused a little bit after someone tried to kill us several times in the last...
And while we're at it, you could answer some of our questions. If you've nothing to hide.
And then we'll just leave you alone.
All right? I'll go along with your childish little game.
With pleasure, Mr. Wessler. I have no idea what she sees in you, but Natasha...
Yeah, she, really worries more than usual, but it's
Disgusting, all right. Do you know why that word exactly?
Since you've been to the...
Didn't it bother you, Wessler, what Natasha used to do?
Why? Did it upset you when you discovered your wife did the same thing?
What did you just say?
What did you think, chicken? That I didn't know? Yeah, don't make me laugh. I know about everyone who ever set foot in that place.
You son of...
Sonny, don't.
Yes, detective?
Not yet.
You're right, Marty.
You're funny, you know that?
About the painting.
Yeah. My brother Albert made it. He's a great talent.
Such self-criticism.
What did you say?
My partner means that you and your brother are very much alike. Identical twins.
Indeed. But,
We'll get to that. Don't worry, Mr. Wessler. So Albert made the painting at your request?
yeah, exactly.
No, it's not a crime in its... This picture, it's rather...
Why do you think so? It's just me, Natasha, and my brother.
The photo doesn't tell much in itself, yes. But if you already have the right information...
Really?
He fell in love with her.
Who do you mean?
Albert, of course. He fell in love with Natasha. All those sessions while he was painting the picture.
You mean,
You.
No. I mean, while Albert was painting, yeah, but I was...
And you think he could have fallen in love with Natasha? That's why he escaped? What do you...
Yeah,
Did Natasha know about what happened to your...
No, of course not.
Do you love beautiful things, Wessler? You were afraid of losing her, weren't you?
Stop. Enough. If you want to ask something, ask clearly.
We're just doing our job.
Then do it clearly. And quickly. Yeah.
We visited Albert's cell and found some...
That's a
classic, even.
What the hell are you, Bab?
This is Albert Wessler's love letter to Natasha.
More like a
in which he tells her he's capable of doing anything for her.
Yeah, this letter doesn't prove anything at all. Albert is mad.
But they believe yours, right? Because you're not Albert Wessler. You're Hobo.
How dare...
Just tell him, Sonny. I'm getting tired of this.
You're just a cheap fake, Albert. You couldn't follow in your brother's footsteps even if you wanted to, no matter how...
What?
She hates you, doesn't she? She doesn't know. She doesn't understand why. But...
Yeah, what do you know? What could you possibly know about suffering and loneliness?
Albert is an imposter. He's not who he says he is. What were you thinking, Albert? How long did you...
Until the end of my life, if needs. Yeah, I cared about nothing except for...
Why did you think that would happen?
Yeah, I knew it would be hard, Santino. But I also knew animals see what they want to see. Yeah,
You wanted to wrap everyone around your dirty...
I couldn't involve anyone. You have to understand. No one besides myself, of course.
So, you included yourself in the plan.
Do you think it's funny, Santino? The position I'm in.
You wanted to rule over something.
I wanted to rule my fate. My actions, my will, myself.
Such selflessness.
Selflessness? Don't make fun of yourself, Sonny. Selflessness is the refuge of the weak and cowardly.
No, Mr. Wessler, but it's not about...
You see? You two are just hypocrites, pathetic statues. But
Have you ever thought that maybe you should have become a psychologist?
Yeah, you won't be laughing for long, Santino. I guarantee...
Why did you have to mutilate?
That's an interesting question, you see, but the answer is exceptionally simple.
Weird way of showing your love.
You can't understand that. He was my everything, the only one...
She took your brother's place pretty quickly, didn't she? There's no...
Yeah, you're understanding the situation, Detective, but you know, very well it's not that simple. Ibn was my brother.
Not immediately.
Unfortunately, tearing out his tongue wasn't enough. Yeah.
And poking out his eye.
Oh, that was just an accident, Mr.
Just an accident? You're a dirty, clucking...
Please, don't be vulgar, Sonny. It's too dangerous in your current situation, and...
So you feel you're two people...
Does it sound crazy? Maybe it is. But it...
Do you think you can avoid the gas chamber?
I don't have to avoid anything, Sonny. You and your friend, will never leave this place.
You're not the cold-blooded killer you'd like to...
Yeah, do you think so?
What would you have done?
You know what? Maybe yeah.
Narcissistic pricks like you never commit...
Yeah. Are you sure you want to insult someone who's pointing...
That was your plan. Take his place...
Why? Isn't it good enough of a plan, Mr. Featherland?
Which is?
Ibn's ghost.
His...
Please don't take it literally, Mr. Chicken. I'm not talking about, spirits. When Ibn died, I didn't just take his place, but...
So you mean Ibn's here with us, even...
He was here all along. Don't you get it?
I must get serious, because looking at the gun in Wessler's trembling hand, I'm afraid I don't have much time. When was the moment you decided to...
When I drew the last stroke on that fatal painting, Mr. Featherland. When I glanced at it for the last time, and then at the...
You simply fell in love with it?
Not in the slightest, Mr. Featherland. Love is
Everybody thinks that, Albert. But we all...
No, Mr. Featherland. Not at all. At that moment, I knew what I was gonna do. I knew that the world was coming to an end if I...
Let him have her, right? You simply want...
I wanted her for ourselves, Sonny. I was him by then. He just didn't know it yet.
Yeah, just a cheap copy.
You're just making your position worse by insulting me.
I wasn't insulting you. I was saying...
Don't force my hand to pull the trigger ahead of time. There are many, many things...
Why don't we get it over with, Wessler? Pull the trigger and let's finish.
You think I don't dare do it?
If you love Natasha...
We lie the most to those we truly love, Santino. Isn't that right?
It shouldn't be that way.
You mean your wife, don't you? See? That's how it goes. We lie because we don't...
What you did, Wessler, is nothing like Molly or me. What you did was out of simple self...
Watch what you're spitting out, that dirty...
I'm not afraid of you, Wessler. You'd better get that into your
Classic mistake, Mr. Featherland.
Albert is an imposter. He's not who he says he... What were you thinking, Albert? How long did you think you could... Why did you... Did you ever... So you... What made you... That was... I must get serious. When was the... Do you... Did you... I'm very close. If you... Maybe it's... So, you heard
I heard everything.
I'm sorry you had to find out.
And thank you. If it...
Yes, both of you would be dead, I know. But believe me, I still thought carefully before...
About who to target.
You know, I truly...
But this man wasn't him. You felt it.
Maybe I even knew it. I don't know.
It won't be easy to process.
I'm sorry I dragged you into this, and...
The cops. But how?
I have no idea.
Do not look at me. I did not call...
Olivia?
Don't worry, Natasha. They won't lay a finger on you.
Please, Sonny. You don't...
I don't want to be rude, Sonny, but I'm more worried about us than her. Hello, boss.
Hello, boys.
Before you say anything, we can explain.
No need for that, Santino.
Monica.
Hey, boys. What were you thinking? That I would just let you get killed without saying goodbye?
Thanks, Mon. Should we say we, owe you?
You know already, boys. Shoes are my...
Hey, mine too.
Of all that's furry, we don't want to hear that.
Yes.
Don't believe you'll get away with it so easily. I want a report on my desk from both of you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. It'll all make sense, believe us. Right after...
What Monty's trying to tell you is that we had good reason to investigate...
What happened to you, Sonny? You're sorry? Did you hit...
Why does everybody keep asking that?
Why, indeed.
So, can we go now, boss?
Don't give me idea.
So, what now?
I think I should mourn, right?
You should.
But I don't know what to feel in it.
I understand, Natasha. You know, if you...
Yes, I know where...
See you around.
Ma'am.
Goodbye, detectives.
What?
No, sir.
Then stop pecking around.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again, Mon. If not for you, those fur heads would have...
No wonder, since you put holes in...
Well, actually...
Then who was it?
Natasha.
Really?
It was for us, too, believe me. How the hell did you find your way here, Tim?
Sometimes I think you're the criminal mastermind behind all the dark dealings in the...
I wish, too, because then we could legally throw you in jail.
I love your...
I wasn't joking.
So?
Are you kidding me? The whole city's talking.
That I admit.
Well, it's a miracle that all of the city's smear sheet journalists aren't here already.
Clock off, Tim.
Hey!
Is this a mansion?
Or
What?
a serious...
And what about you?
I'll go home and sleep.
I'm sorry I dragged you into this.
I'm not sorry, Natasha. It's better this way.
Yes, I think
Hey, Olivia.
Marty?
I just,
For what exactly?
for trying to save us.
I didn't do it only for you, believe me. I loved my job while I had it.
I didn't even...
Of course you didn't.
Can I do anything to help?
I think I'll manage. I always do.
You're a good boy, Bosco.
You know, folks, somebody's gotta take care of the real police work while you're tearing up.
Sorry for the mess, Bosco, but...
Yeah, unfortunately...
How did you catch them? After the gunshot, I was sure these two would show up.
They were already in cuffs before then, Sonny. We had the house surrounded. If you could have hung on, maybe...
Hey, a second longer and it would have been us.
That shit...
Cluck you sideways, Bosco. Gentlemen?
Gentlemen?
We're honestly very sorry.
Yeah, this peacefully.
For myself, I'm glad, gentlemen. I would have sincerely regretted it if we had to shoot both of you, but unfortunately, that seemed to be the...
Don't think we'll be behind bars for long, chickens. Whistler may be dead, but his empire's still...
Oh, look at that. He can...
In complex sentences, too.
Yeah, or something like that.
Amazing.